Assalamu alaikum guys, I've got a really special treat for you guys. It's a cake that you can make for any occasion, and since Eid is tomorrow, which we're all excited about, we can definitely make this for Eid. So it's basically a marble cake and I've made it into a sandwich. So it's basically two layers and I've topped it off with cream and decorations, and it had loads of fun making this. So you can make this with your sisters, younger siblings, cousins, sons, daughters, whoever, and it would definitely be a really fun thing to do together. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. So before we go into the tutorial, let's get stuck into the ingredients. So we're going to need 2 cups of margarine or butter, just make sure it's at room temperature, 2 cups of caster sugar, 2 eggs, a teaspoon of baking powder. So use about 1.5 tablespoon of cocoa powder. So I've used about half a teaspoon of coffee powder in 1 tablespoon of warm water. And last but not least, we're going to need 2 cups of self-raising flour. Now to make our marble cake, we're going to need 2 mixtures. So one's going to be chocolate and one's going to be plain. And we're going to mix this together and I'll show you guys how. So let's get stuck into how we make the cake mix. So let's get bowl number 1, and this is going to be for our plain cake mix. So we're going to need 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of sugar, and give that a good mix until you make the butter and sugar nice and fluffy. You should get a mixture that looks something like this. So now crack open 1 egg into your bowl 1. Mix it right in until it goes nice and fluffy. Here I've switched from the wooden spoon to a spatula just so I can fold the mixture in, and I just feel like it makes the batter more fluffy. So now place a sieve over your bowl and put in 1 cup of flour, the self-raising flour, and sieve it into your cake mix. I'd recommend sieving in the flour as opposed to just pouring it right in, only because it prevents any lumps forming. Now just put 1 teaspoon of your baking powder directly over your flour and then sift the baking powder and the flour into the mixture. So once you've sifted in the flour, gently mix your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients together. So one of the most important things you can do to ensure that your cake comes out nice and fluffy is to not over mix your cake mix. So here I've switched to a spatula and I've started folding my cake mix just so that a lot of air goes into it and that the end product comes out nice and soft and moist. So now that we've completed our plain mix, let's move on to our chocolate mix. Just like before, we're going to add 1 cup of butter. For the chocolate mix, I like adding brown sugar because I always feel like it kind of gives it a more richer taste. I don't know, it's just me. And so I'm just going to use half a cup, and this is the sugar that I'm using, unrefined cane sugar, and I'm actually going to blend this up and it comes out like a powdery form like so. So I've just blended it and I'm going to put that straight in. As well as the brown sugar, I'm also going to add your regular caster sugar. So here I've just added half a cup. Mix both sugars well into your butter, and I'm going to use a spatula because I just feel like it mixes a lot more better. So crack open your egg just like before. So just 1 egg to the chocolate mix and blend it together until smooth like so. So now we're going to dissolve half to 1 teaspoon of coffee powder into 1 tablespoon of warm water, depending on how strong you want the coffee taste. So put it in and blend it well with your spatula. So now we're going to add in our dry ingredients to the cake mix. So that's 1 cup of flour, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and 1.5 tablespoon of cocoa powder, like so. So now all you have to do is sieve in all your dry ingredients like so. Using your spatula, we're just going to fold that right in, allowing enough air into the mixture so that we get a nice fluffy cake at the end. So now that we've got our 2 cake mixes ready to go, we're going to prepare our baking dish. So the first thing we're going to want to do is align your baking tray with baking paper, and here I'm cutting a round circle just so I can put in the base so that the cake does not stick to the pan. The next thing you have to do is make sure you grease your pans well so that the cake does not stick to the baking paper otherwise your cake will basically fall apart. So now that you've got your cake mix ready, just drop a spoonful of your cake mix, alternating from your chocolate mix and your plain one, like so. And don't forget to do it for your other tin. Since we're making a sandwich cake, we have to double this procedure for 2 tins. And it should look something like this. Yummy, right? So at this point, what I like doing is just using a wooden spoon or a spatula and flatten out the cake mix. Make sure that the chocolate and the plain doesn't mix all together, otherwise you won't be able to distinguish between the two. So we want that marble effect, so try and keep the chocolate and the plain mix separate. So now our cake is ready to put in the oven, and I'd say leave it in your oven at gas mark 4 or 5 and leave it in the middle. That'll be the best place, and set it for about half an hour, and when it gets to 25 minutes just insert a toothpick in the center, and if wet crumbs come out then you know it's done. However, if the batter comes out, then you know it's not done. So as you can see, I finished baking my cakes for about half an hour and they've come out the perfect sponge consistency. So I hope you guys achieved this. And now I'm going to show you guys how you can decorate your cake. So I've created a sandwich cake. So what I want to do is put some cream in the middle of our sandwich cake and some cream on the top. So I'm going to be using fresh cream, which is going to be whipped using an electric whisker. So I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of sugar to 200 milliliters of fresh double cream, and this is just to sweeten the cream because otherwise it's not going to taste that nice. Using an electric whisker, I'm going to whisk it until it goes nice and soft. So you'll know when your double cream is done when it gets to a consistency like so. So you want it nice and thick, but be sure not to over mix it, otherwise it will go buttery. I'm going to add some blue food colouring to some icing that I prepared. Icing is very simple to make. Just get your icing sugar and add butter. So I add some butter to it, and just to make some blue icing. So I'm going to put some double cream in the centre of my sandwich cake, just because I like that cream in the centre, but you can skip out if you don't like cream that much. And I'm also going to decorate my centre with some chocolate buttons because it just gives it that nice crunch. So now put the rest of your cream on the top of your sandwich cake, like so. And I just like using a simple butter knife, but you can use a spatula or whatever you fancy really. So now that all our hard work is done, it's time to have some fun, and that's the decorating, of course. So I've just added in some chocolate buttons, some silver balls, some flake chocolate which I like to sprinkle around. I've also added some glitter. I don't know if you can notice it through the camera. And yeah, just have fun with decorating. Do it any way you want. Don't make it too complicated. The most funnest part is to make something that's simple, easy to do, and something that you can just find delicious to eat. So I just want to give you guys a massive Eid Mubarak to all my subscribers. You guys have given me such support, especially Nail Art Lover, I believe. She's been sending me really sweet messages. So yeah, I'm so grateful for all your subscribing and everything, all your support. Hope you guys see you in my next video. Assalamu alaikum. Love you all. Bye.